AITA for not making an effort for my boyfriend's birthday? We have been together for years, and usually for his birthday, I coordinate a big party with our friends, but this year I decided not to. We welcomed our daughter, and between looking after her and going back to work, I just didn't have the energy to properly plan a party, so instead cooked his favorite food for dinner, and while we were eating he said, "Is that it?" I was really upset about this and tried explaining how his comment had upset me, but he accused me of trying to ruin his birthday. I am by no means a talented cook, and I asked his mom for the recipe and had to get ingredients from a grocery store quite far to us, which required a lot of effort. I am not sure if I am blowing this out of proportion by being upset at him, but I just don't feel he appreciates what I did for him. Edit: I have read through a few comments and would like to answer a few questions. I did get my boyfriend a gift, but hadn't given it to him yet at the time of the dinner. To be honest, his birthday wasn't really my top priority at the time. My daughter is recovering from meningitis and I've been on edge around her. I didn't tell him about his birthday being more low-key this year. I assumed that with everything going on he'd know that. Some people are asking for our ages. My boyfriend is 30, I'm 32 and our daughter is 3 mo. In terms of splitting chores/childcare, I used to do all of it, but now that I am back to work, we split chores and I do childcare. Update: thank you so much for all your advice, and after I got home from work, we spoke about our expectations for birthdays going forward. I apologized to him for not communicating very well about what his birthday would look like and for assuming he would know that I was not throwing him a big party with all of our life changes. He told me that he knew it would have been scaled down, but thought there might have been a smaller party, with a few close friends, as it was the big 30 for him. I am not a birthday person. The last proper celebration I had was 21, and since then I have always opted for a birthday dinner outside the house with a few friends. My boyfriend has always been more outgoing than me and prefers celebrating with a big group, friends and family. When we spoke, I realized that I was honestly more upset that I felt underappreciated in general and I was struggling to cope with all of my new responsibilities. My boyfriend apologized for not noticing, and we have agreed to split responsibilities more evenly. I was quite annoyed that he didn't realize how much I struggled or the stress I felt and offered to help at all, but I know that I have a problem with asking for help sometimes, so it is not completely his fault. AITA for returning to work right after my child was born? My ex and I had a child on Sunday. We broke up before we knew if she was pregnant. The weekend my child was born was a long weekend and I returned to work on the Tuesday. I was with her in the hospital from the Saturday morning to the Tuesday morning doing whatever I could to help her. She is now very mad at me, saying I should have taken the week off to help out with the baby and that she feels unsupported. She says that she can't have a shower, make breakfast, etc. because she has to look after the baby. She is staying at her parents' house as well, so she is in Aloe all day. Why I didn't take any time off is because I had just started a new job in January and at the time I didn't know if I was going to be involved in my child's life. It then got to a point where it was too close to the birth date to really organize any time off. Plus my ex is taking a year off with half pay, in which she says she'll only get $20,000, so I need to keep my job and keep working to financially support my child. I help out when I'm finished and before work with whatever I can. But right now the baby is feeding for almost the whole night and she is exhausted. AITA for returning to work? Edit: thanks all for your posts and opinions. To clarify some things, I decided right from the beginning that I wanted to be involved in my child's life. When I knew that she wanted me involved, I didn't have enough time to give adequate notice to get time off. My work requires at least a month. I do have the week of the 18th of June, that's the best I could do. AITA for not accepting my father's gesture of turning up at Pride? My father, 60, and I, 29, have a low-contact relationship. We do not spend time together or communicate at all, apart from small talk when I'm at home. He and my mum, 56, are still together. I have a very good relationship with her. I am gay, and me and my mum went to the local Pride recently. She has taken part in a parade before and enjoyed it. We spent a couple hours there. Then she was going to walk home and leave me to meet friends. I was surprised when my father showed up to pick up my mum. He's always been very homophobic and I couldn't imagine him coming near an event like this. Aside from the homophobia, he simply was not a good father to me. He never showed love or spent time with me, and I can count the kind things he did for me on one hand. Due to also being racist, misogynistic, xenophobic, and generally hateful, he is just a bad person. This combined with a lot of bullying and emotional abuse from when I was small is why I chose not to have a relationship to him. A few days passed and I spoke to my brother, 37, on the phone. He was similar to my father growing up, including bullying me. We have since healed the relationship by him changing and apologizing for past behavior. We are not super close, but speak maybe once a month. He has a good relationship with my father. My brother said he had something hard to tell me. He had spoken to my father, who had broken down in tears that he has tried endlessly to repair his relationship with me, but nothing he can do is good enough. Apparently turning up to Pride, saying hello and immediately leaving was his way of accepting me and trying to have a relationship with me. I don't believe it. I am not open to the idea that he has changed because he is still an emotionally abusive and manipulative boss to my mom. He has also never said anything to me at all that would even hint he was trying to make amends, including on the day of Pride. When I told my mom about this, she said she didn't know he was upset but mentioned that a few years ago, I was getting married, but broke up beforehand, and he wasn't invited to the wedding. When they had a fight, she said something along the lines of "There's no wonder AITA Hob doesn't want you at his wedding or in his life," and he got the most upset she'd seen him in years. My brother said it's on me to reach out and begin to heal the relationship. I flat out said no. He was outraged, and said I was an off for not caring. But I don't care, I simply don't. I've had therapy for years and accepted that I don't have a father in my life. Some childhood friends agree with my brother, because whenever they've met my father he's been polite, never seeing what happened behind closed doors. Some of my gay friends said they'd love to be able to mend relationships with their fathers, and I'm lucky. So, AITA for not doing anything with my father's pathetic gesture? AITA for having my girlfriend over all the time? I have a basement apartment by myself. It is a one-bedroom, with my landlord and his wife living above me. I pay a cheap rent and half the utilities for the house. Landlord is a friend from high school that we hang out with socially quite often. My girlfriend got a new job within 10 minutes of my apartment and her house is about an hour away. It wasn't intentional, the job kind of landed in her lap and is good money, so it makes more sense for her to stay with me more frequently when she is working in office. It has been this way for about 6 months that my girlfriend is at my apartment about 4 to 5 nights a week. There is street parking, so my girlfriend doesn't occupy the driveway and my entrance is separate with a locked door between the units. This week I am working midnights. Girlfriend has a key and has been staying at my place while I'm at work in the evening since Wednesday. Yesterday, Thursday evening, I get call from landlord flipping that she has been there, saying he doesn't like other people in his space. I say it's my space she is in as she doesn't leave my unit, and is locked from entering his, and he says he is not comfortable with someone there without me. My girlfriend and I went to their all-inclusive wedding, she is not a stranger to him and I said as much. It turned into argument that couldn't be solved while I was at work, so I told him my girlfriend would go home for the evening and him and I would sort it out in the morning. My girlfriend was upset, but packed to leave. While packing, my girlfriend called me in tears because my friend could be heard upstairs screaming about her being there and presumably smashing stuff. I could hear him through the phone, so I told my girlfriend to leave her stuff and I would bring it. When I arrived home that morning from my overnight work shift, I let my landlord know I would be moving out. He was very upset and said I'm TA for leaving him hanging for my rent next month when all he is asking is to have my girlfriend over less. I told him he's now made it so my girlfriend is uncomfortable at my place at all and that I want to live somewhere, where I can have guests at my own discretion, especially when I am paying half the utilities. He said it's not about money, but about comfortability and he'd be happy to talk to my girlfriend to make sure she knows they are still friends. I just want to be done with it. He made it clear what he is comfortable with and I made it clear what I am. AITA for wanting to move out so I can continue to have my girlfriend over all the time? ETA, to clarify a common question, we had no formal signed lease and were just on a month-to-month basis. Where I live, legally I can have guests stay up to fortnight, 14 days, before it is considered additional occupancy, though I know she stays more than what most call a guest. AITA for not wanting to babysit my siblings' kids anymore? At 23F used to be very close with my family. My siblings have children and I used to be big part of their life. I'm always taking good care of them. On my free time I never do anything for myself. I spend it always with them. I love them. I always go above and beyond for them. Not to mention I spent lots of money on them. I'm the aunt that never said no to them. My siblings have more money than me, but all my money seems to go to their children. Now this is not my siblings' fault, it's just what I choose to do. I love them like my own and I never felt like I was being used by my siblings to be a free babysitter because I truly enjoyed it from my heart. I don't have friends of my own. I considered my siblings my friends. However, a year ago I had a terrible injury and couldn't walk or use my hands for 6+ months. I went from being the girl that helped everyone out to being unable to help myself. I couldn't walk to the bathroom, kitchen, nowhere. For the first months of my injury I lost 30 pounds and I was severely skinny. I lost all that weight due to being unable to cook for myself. There were times I needed help even using my spoon. I needed to be fed. No one helped me. There were times I literally cut my hair off because I no longer could take care of my long thick hair. There were times I couldn't take showers. It was the most depressing time of my life. I went from dealing with my injury to dealing with all kinds of problems due to not taking care of myself, not eating properly, etc. Fast forward, after months of suffering and struggling I was able to slowly heal. I was very mad at my family when I finally healed. I realized they used to call me every day before my injury, because they could use me as a babysitter, but during my injury they acted as if I didn't exist. There were no phone calls, no checking up on me to see if I need anything, nothing. I did have high expectations from them. We were very close family. I was there for them through anything. But I didn't receive the same love back. The other day, my sister called me to say her kids miss me and to babysit them. I said no. That's the first time I've ever said no. Why is she calling me now that I'm recovered, when she didn't show up for me during the worst times of my life? She said it's because I never told them I needed help. Now they knew exactly what I was going through. They knew I couldn't walk, they knew I couldn't use my hands. They saw me with their own eyes first day of my injury at the hospital, then completely disappeared on me. I feel I am only good enough when I'm helping them, but when I'm unable to do anything I'm unwanted. I'm going to be all alone, but I decided to cut my siblings off of my life permanently. I will no longer be watching their kids for them. I've let them know this and have changed my number. They think it's evil to do to your family. What do you guys think? AITA?